Okay, I'd like to bring the Ways and Means Committee meeting to order for May 1st. Deanne, will you take roll call, please?
Lux.
Here.
Duranza.
Here.
Krieger.
Yes.
Begay.
Here.
Luna.
Here.
Weiler.
Here.
Garrett.
Here.
Warren present.
Thank you. At this time, we have the minutes of 4-3.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, we have public input. Those that want to see us and talk to us can rush to the podium. Well, I guess you all come individually later, okay. Moving on, petitions and communications. Under item A, we have the Bay County Sheriff, the Blue Cross Blue Shield contract renewal.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, we have the Michigan Drug Evaluation and Classification Program, DEC. What is your pleasure on that one?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next, under item B, we have the Drain Office, the Remonumentation Administrator Remonumentation Program transition to perpetual maintenance. What is your?
So moved. Support.
I have a motion and support. Any discussion? I know we don't have anybody from the Drain Office here, but seeing none? Oh,
Well, I was just gonna, ask if anyone had knowledge of that. I know I've had a complaint, but I believe the road commission does remonumentation, would they, or through the drain office? Because there was a fellow out in Hampton Township who had me go out and take a look at his little monument that had been there for 50 years, and it was removed. So I talked with Jim Lillo, and he indicated it was no longer necessary. There's 2 or 3 down at the next intersection. So as far as the boundary lines, it wasn't necessary. And he wasn't pleased that it wasn't going to be there for sentimental reasons, I guess, because he'd grown up on the farm for 50 years or so. So just thought I'd ask that question, but it doesn't sound like this resolution would directly impact where the monuments are placed, so.
so normally they don't, I know under certain road construction projects, they tend to place those in the roadways, but those that might not be in a roadway, they may not even be removed. I'm surprised that they removed that particular one if it wasn't in a roadway. You know, normally they just leave them.
Actually, it was in the roadway.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Okay,
So thank you. Clarify something. Thanks, Dan.
Commissioner Kuhn.
Well, maybe we could get some more information as to how much money they annually receive. And I think they receive it from, if I'm not mistaken, so many cents on something being copied. I'm not quite sure, but it'd be interesting to have what type of revenue would come in to perpetually maintain those. It's just nice to see, I think, from a little more background information. Maybe we could relay that to Mr. Rivet.
To Joseph, okay. Maybe you could either be present or at least provide it before next meeting. Possible. We have a motion and support. We want to move this to the full board
Yeah,
pending the
just a little more background.
Additional
Just-
information?
I mean, just to educate us, because I know they receive money, and Laura would know, but Laura's not here. They receive money, Brandon, is that through you maybe?
Yeah, we receive the money through the recording fees for registered deeds on the remon. I can get the amount on that, what we get per recording, and I can give you an idea
And
what
a
it
certain
is.
amount of that, those fees go towards this program.
Towards the remon program, yeah.
All right,
Yep.
thanks.
So there's a yearly budget that's developed with those funds?
It's not a budget, but it does go to a line item, and I think Janet can probably figure out what that line item is for the remon, but I can get you an idea what it is per document, and then we can figure it out from there, based on the documents that we're recording yearly.
Yeah, I just kind of like, because I know we discussed this over the years, and I don't retain all of that. It's just kind of a nice review.
Okay, yeah, I'll get that information for you.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have the court administrator, used bus for juror transportation. What is your pleasure on that?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Commissioner Ryder.
I've got some questions.
He's right there for you. Kim will answer.
What currently do we pay AAA taxi service for bringing jurors back and forth? And how does that relate to, is this, be less expense for the county by buying a bus and giving a part-time driver? And so is that all figured in?
It is. Right now, we pay per hour, and there's an hourly rate. I don't know exactly what that is, but they're about $200 each time we use their service. They bill us about a month, because we do several trials per month. In the long run, yes, actually, there'll be a savings to the county. Probably within less than 2 years, there'll be an advantage of us having bought the bus and using our own personnel to drive. We'll have to hire a couple of drivers, but yes, there will be a savings to the county to do this.
We have hiring the drivers?
Yes.
Included?
Yes. Yes.
I believe they're on-call drivers.
They
correct?
would be, yes. We schedule many trials per week, but most of them end up pleading or they're adjourned because information is not available or something. So we probably have anywhere from 25 to 30, sometimes 40 trials in a year. And we would only schedule them on the first day that we have a trial, that we need to have that many jurors. After they're selected for jury service, we then have them park in our front lot because we have enough room. That we just don't have enough room on the day that we bring in anywhere from 40 to 100 people. So they park in this lot here and we transport them the few blocks back and forth. So if jury selection is like a half a day, the bus runs for about 4 hours. There are days it runs till close to 5 o'clock, so it's a 7 or 8 hour day. But yes, so we would only hire people, they would only be brought in to drive on days that we need to actually operate the bus service.
The bus that was proposed to be purchased, there's 247,000 miles.
Roughly, yes.
Is there, and it's something as is there any evaluation of that particular vehicle? Any way that we can evaluate the condition and how long that may last or may not last?
I personally can't give you an assessment. I'm not mechanical in that way, but Kristen will help me out. But Tim from Parks and Rec went over and looked at it, so.
We sent our mechanic out of the rec barn out there to see it. We sent him a day, he wanted to go a day before they actually went and viewed the van because he wanted it to cold start. He said it's immaculate, that the city of Grand Rapids did a really great job taking care of it. He would be the person fixing it if anything were to happen, so he felt very comfortable with the quality. And there's a lot of miles on it because of what they've used it for, but remember, this van is only going to be going about a block and a half. And as long as we're running it, and not just turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off, he felt very comfortable that this was a good option for us. And it's under $9,000, so it's a pretty good find.
Thank you.
Commissioner Krieger.
So if it's a block and a half, is there a reason why we just don't have them walk
It's
from where
further
they
than a
park?
block and a half. It's probably about 3 blocks.
We're talking about wellness here in Bay County. What better way to have wellness than,
On a very snowy day or a very heavy downpour, I don't think they'd be real happy. And some people just aren't that mobile either.
all right, thank you.
Commissioner Kunis.
Thank you. I don't have a problem looking at it at all. but I'd still like to see the numbers, like what we paid AAA last year or the year before, so that we can get a general idea of what the cost analysis is going to be. Because if we vote on something and it costs more money, then, you know, I'm not saying we wouldn't vote on it. All I'm saying is, within this, and you probably could provide this to us by next Tuesday.
Sure.
What we pay.
Sure.
I have the cost.
Well, yeah, but we need to have it on, you know.
Yeah, no, we can get it to you.
I mean, I'd kind of like to look at it in advance and run, you know, kind of.
But we've been as high as $10,000 and as low as almost $3,000
Right.
a year. So
But we
just
should
so
be,
depending on
that's
how
the
many.
information I'm asking for, that we get it in the background, so we can see that. Thank you.
And if we could, you know, we could probably do that for the last 5-7 years or whatever. Commissioner Herrick?
I was just gonna say that Jan could probably provide that for us
okay.
next week, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Commissioner Brigade?
Yeah, it looks like reliability was an issue also with the service that we had in the AAA, that they weren't always there or didn't show up. Or...
Yes, it's come down to that. When they took over back in, it was I think 2014, we had a few small bumps in the road, but things went pretty smoothly. But it's really, last year we had a couple times they didn't show up, and then since the first of the year, there's been at least 5 incidences where they've just said, oh, we have nobody available tomorrow, or they don't respond, and then we come in the morning and we have no jurors showing up, and come to find out there's no bus. And then afterwards they'll say, oh, well, a bus broke down, or we didn't have a driver. Or, it's just been so unreliable that we had talked about doing something like this early on when we had to make the transition. Bay Metro was wonderful. But unfortunately, they can't provide that service. So we had talked about it back then and said, well, you know, we'll use this for a while, and it's worked out. But I think the time has come that we need to just make other arrangements.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd just say I
yeah.
agree with Commissioner Coonan that, Jan, if you could provide those facts and figures with them, be helpful to all the commission to be able to assess what makes the most sense in terms of enhancing that presentation for jurors.
Don't want to miss anybody over there. Okay, we have a motion and support. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, so let's see, we have, under D, Community Corrections Manager, the fiscal year 2019 Office of Community Corrections Grant.
So moved.
Support?
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that one? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under E, Personnel Director, we have temporary employment agency contract. What is your pleasure on
So
that?
moved. Support?
We have a motion and support. Commissioner Coonan.
Thank you. Maybe Tiffany, this is coming to you. Now, this agency, they bring in people, so let's say we pay the agency $15, they pay the people 10 and the agency keeps 5. I'm just using that as an example. I never liked that. You know, I think if people work, they should, if they, $15, we're paying $15 an hour, I think the people should get $15 an hour. I don't like agencies that hire, you know, just provide groups of people and then take some of the wages. I didn't know that we really had a problem with temporary, you know, placing people that for whatever reason we needed somebody.
So we do currently have a vendor that we use, and this is when people are off unplanned illnesses or something along that line, and they're gone for a week or 2 weeks, and a department needs temporary help. So we do have a relationship with one agency at this point. However, there isn't, they can't always provide that to us. Sometimes they don't have anybody available, and we do dictate the wage. So when we hire them, we pay that. The person receives the same amount that they would be paid if they were our employee. And yes, there is an additional fee that the agency then retains. but they don't get paid less than what an employee would get paid.
Okay, so they're going, what they're, I guess they would be following whether it's a union contract or, and there's a need for that? So we're gonna have two agencies then?
We could have multiple agencies, it just depends on, recently we had a vacancy that one agency didn't have anybody that would be willing to do that vacancy, and so we needed to reach out to different agencies, but we currently don't have a contract with anybody, it's just a verbal situation, so we're just looking to formalize those relationships that we already have.
Okay.
Anyone else? Seeing none, and this would be worked up so that we could work with multiple agencies rather than just that specific one we have been working. Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. A little bit long? Okay. I think we got somebody working on it for you. Next, we have, under item 2, we have the tuition reimbursement for Norine Weiler from Finance Department. What is your pleasure?
Support.
Motion, support to receive. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under 911 Director, Chris is back there waiting on it. Under item 1, we have the amendment to the current MPSCS system integration agreement. What is your pleasure on that?
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? What, you weren't standing at the podium already? Mr. Coonan.
I'd just like a little background on, it seems like every so often we get requests and unless you're on that committee and are privy to that kind of information, just a little background on what this is all about.
Yeah, so we currently are on the Motorola 5500s radio system, and we're upgrading. Last year we approved the contract to move to the MCC 7500s. And what it is, it's a radio system that's been, our existing radio system is 12 years old, it's end of life. So that's where we put the contract together. And this agreement allows us to integrate the radios directly into the 800 megahertz radio system. So the tower that's on top of this county building, currently when we key up the microphone at 911, the dispatcher, it goes from an antenna at our place to here and then goes out. With this system, the direct integration, a piece of fiber from our building to the from the 911 center to the county building, then up to the 8th floor, then it gets disseminated from there. So it's actually a direct tie-in to the state radio system. It allows some unique things that we can do with this system. For instance, if we actually, let's say our center was down, our backup center was down, we could actually go to Midland or anyone else who had the MPSCS 7500s, log in with our username and password, and we could dispatch from that position of the radios. So there's some unique pieces that it offers.
So instead of going point to point, you're using fiber?
Yeah, fiber directly connected into the tower up here, and then from there it hooks into the network via microwave redundantly throughout the state network, the MPSCS system.
Just out of curiosity, why did we have to wait until after we got the radios in? Why couldn't this all have been approved at one time?
The agreement is separate. It's the agreement from the contract was the purchase of the radios from Motorola. This is the integration with the state of Michigan, so it's a separate piece.
But we knew we had to do it.
Knew we had to, but waiting on the state's Attorney General's office to send us the updated information.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next, we have the travel request for Ashleigh Aubrey.
So moved.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under G, we have the Director of Department of Aging, the letter of intent to Region 7.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that one? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Under H, we have Supervisor of Building and Grounds, a repair at the county market. What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Commissioner Kuhn.
John? Unless, you know, I was kind of looking at the background information, and I don't know if you had $5,400 budgeted, which you could have actually, I don't, unless that's being allocated for something else, but if you had that money, you really wouldn't have had to come to us for this 2,000. right?
Correct. There's nothing else pending. I have 4,500.
Or whatever the number was. So
overall budget.
technically, if you had that, you could just use that without even coming and asking for it, right?
Right. My quote came in at 4,800 for the areas that the city would like us to correct.
But you're asking for what, oh, you're asking for?
2,000
In
additional.
addition.
In
Okay.
addition.
I'm sorry.
And that's to repair the areas that we've gotten.
Okay, all right.
And then we're going to do some restriping under the canopy.
Gotcha. All right, thank you.
So this will take in the area at the north end of the canopy, and then the alleyway from the restaurant to 11th Street, right?
Yes. Yes.
Because that's got a lot of holes in it. Commissioner Creed.
So will that bring us current with the city then as far as concerns that they have?
It'll get them, yes, it'll satisfy them with this issue with them.
Okay,
I'm
so
also going to contact the
so
street
this is just a
department.
bigger Band-Aid that we're putting on?
Well, it's around a manhole cover there, and it's in the alleyway, and it is falling apart. We own half that alley, the south side of the block. The city owns that, and there's a few holes in that area too, so I'm going to contact the city and see when they're going to take care of their issues too.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Next is animal control. Hi, Mike. The Director of Administrative Services has the Empty the Shelter Day.
So, support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on Empty the Shelter? Seeing none, all in favor? Oh.
I'd just like to thank Mike and the staff at Bay County Animal Shelter and Animal Control for the great job you've done in the past on the Clear the Shelter Day. It's really helping us achieve our goals of trying to reach that 92%, adopt rate for healthy adoptable pets. And, thank you, Mike, for what you're doing, and also compliment you on the Paws in the Park program, which you're probably going to speak on momentarily.
Well, thank you for your comments, and I'm pleased that you included staff and support staff and the like, because it is, after all, a team effort. But thank you again for your comments.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Under item 2 for animal control, we have the sponsor of the Paws in the Park event on 5/19/18.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Commissioner Creed.
Yep, Mike, if I could, I know you need the exercise.
Getting your exercise.
Well,
So maybe you
remember
might want to
wellness.
explain, people might be hearing Paws in the Park on WSGW in the effort that we try to do in coordinating times. Maybe if you want to let everyone know the hours that we're going to
Sure.
be there and stuff.
I'd be
that'd
more than
great.
happy to.
Thank you.
As is indicated, it's Saturday, May 19th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. is the Paws in the Park event. We will be open our regular hours, which is 9 till 1. And Nick Page is going to be kind enough to videotape the event. We attempted to have them coordinate their event with the Empty the Shelter event. However, they opted not to, and those attempts went back several weeks. But as I say, they didn't choose to coordinate their event with our own, so there it is. Normally, Paws in the Park is held in the fall. This year, they chose to hold it in the spring. And so there it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under item J, we got payables from the general fund. Someone's pleasure.
Support.
And motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under K, we have the finance officer. First item is the budget adjustments. What is your pleasure on that?
So moved.
Support. We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under 2, we have the analysis of the general fund equity. Motion to receive would be in order.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Under 3, we have Executive Directive 2007-11, the update. Motion to receive would be in order.
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Under 4, we have the contract renewal for BidNet. What is your pleasure on that?
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that one? Seeing none? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we have item 6 is referrals. I don't think we have any of those. Unfinished business is next, and I don't think we have any of that. New business, anyone? Seeing none, we'll move on. Closed session. Do we need one? No? Okay. Miscellaneous.
Mr. Chairman. There was one item I wanted to mention and get the input from the board on, and the fiscal analyst, Mr. Redmond. I had a email and conversation with Chris Zworski. We had a situation where 911 was called. There was confusion about an address, and some time ago, Consumers Energy indicated to Bay County and to some of the elected officials throughout the county, and I'm sure the city, that they know they're going to discontinue numbering lots and homes. They've traditionally done that. However, we need someone to sort of take up that effort. And apparently Saginaw County, the county does it, or the County Road Commission. I believe that they charge $40 per address when a new address is established. But it is critical for 911 to respond to an emergency call. I think we had at one location on Euclid, a new business without a proper address, identifying the location, and it was a medical response. So could be an issue, and it's something that we should probably talk about either with the Road Commission or with Chris, and with participation from the board. Obviously, it would be a significant undertaking, but there is a way to collect the fees which are assessed to someone who constructs a new business or residence. And it's important that our first responders know exactly that precise location under our Smart 911 system and our GIS system at Central Dispatch. So just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if Mr. Zworski wants to speak to that or just let that go. Did I do an adequate job, Chris, or did you want to add?
Yeah, as Jim indicated, that location, kind of in real estate, it's so important for us when you call 911, the first thing we ask is, where is your emergency? So having an address, a GIS plotted address is really, really important. And as Jim indicated, they had met some officials a couple of months ago about how to handle this when Consumers Energy is going to stop addressing. And when Ryan Gale, the assistant director, came back in that meeting, we talked about it. We thought, well, if no one else will take up the mantle of doing this, because there is some cost associated with it, and if we can figure out where there's a fee structure where we can at least be neutral on that, we would definitely want to pursue it from our end, and we'd be willing to throw our hat into the ring simply because it's so critical that we have that information.
Commissioner Krieger.
So if this resident were to get mail, how's the post office going to deliver it if he doesn't have an address? Wouldn't the post office also be involved with identification for this individual to receive mail or bills?
They could use a box at the mail office. Yeah.
Okay.
So they wouldn't have to necessarily get an address point. And right now it is Consumers Energy who does that in Bay County, and they are going to cease that. So it kind of leaves a hole in how we do this. I've researched other 911 centers as to have others done this, and what the counties have done is created an ordinance countywide, brought the municipalities underneath that ordinance. And because there's other components, not just addressing, that we could tackle. If we're going to tackle something like this, we should look holistically. For instance, we have multiple main streets in Bay County. So we could look at those other issues as well. Addresses that are out of address sync, things like that could be looked at as well going forward. Not stuff retroactive, but going forward.
But don't the townships have maps with the lots?
In a lot of cases, they do not.
Okay.
Commissioner
Thank you.
Coonan.
Coming from a utility, I think consumers did do that. They just don't want to do it anymore. So somebody's got to do it. Now, if you got somebody out in the field that covers the entire county, which would be our water, the countywide water, if there's an address or a parcel of land that they're going to build on, needs an address, so why would we not work? I mean, I don't know how you look at this, Chris, but that's another, I don't know if you've got anybody out in the field, but there's, whether it's a city or Bangor or whoever else, they've got somebody reading those water meters or servicing them. So that might be another way to see if it's something that they can do that. They'll cover the entire county, and I know 911 does as well, but maybe with them being out there, it could,
It definitely does not have to be us, but I think we should try to pick up that mantle and see if we can put some pieces together, yeah. Because I'm concerned on the public safety side.
yeah,
It was
we're
brought
going
to
to
my
do it
attention.
somehow.
Water
I'm just saying,
Yeah, some haven't.
Yeah.
Chris, can you imagine, thanks, Mr. Chairman, are there addresses that you could conceive of that wouldn't be hooked up to the water system? Not a residence or a business, but some location like a warehouse that would need a designation that may not have water hooked up?
I know up north, once you get out of the more urban areas, they don't have water distribution, like, Gibson Township, places like that. So not everywhere, but there, so there are areas, but I'm sure if we put our heads together, common sense Bay County, we can come up with a solution.
Do it as efficiently as we can.
Exactly,
We already
yeah.
got people in the field. You don't need to hire somebody else to go do it.
We do go out in the field, we do MSAG verifications, so new addresses, if we have to verify addresses. Assistant Director Ryan Gale will go out in the field, and so like, for instance, in Auburn Williams last year, they put up new apartments, so we go out, we'll get a phone call or information from either GIS will come in sometimes, or from a phone company, and they'll say, hey, these address points we need verified, and then we lock those into our local GIS to make sure when they call it, it all lines up.
So, Mr. Mercer, would you be able to reach out to Saginaw County? That's the county you said is doing it now?
Yes.
And kind of get some information about how they're doing it and the time frame of when Consumers is not going to do it any longer in Bay County, and maybe bring it back to us?
Yeah, I think it would be good to have several entities in the county road commission on the issue of water. For example, we have, it seems like our GIS system at the health department, we have several thousand homes that are served by water, well water.
Right.
So, but the health department would maybe have that information, identifying those residences that are not on established water line, but draw their water from the ground. So between you know, if we get everyone together, we should be able to figure out a system, and if the Bay County Road Commission wants to take it up, or if they're not interested, then we have to organize an effort to try to see that it gets done, because it is critical of getting, for first responders and fire and all the folks that are needed occasionally when a crisis comes up or disaster. So, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner McGee.
Michigan Association of Counties had a Health and Human Services meeting yesterday. Budget, a lot of budget stuff going on right now. The Medicaid program, or the Healthy Michigan program, about the work requirement. If they're going to have to be doing work, was a topic. I don't know if it's going to go through or not. Requiring Medicaid recipients to have a job if they're able-bodied. That was one of our topics. Mental health, and we also talked about the revenue sharing. So it's ongoing discussions right now. And the regional summits are coming up. We just got an email on that. It's in Frankenmuth on the 23rd of July. Tips for running efficient, effective meetings, changing government immunity and impacts in county government, and the mechanics of millage elections. The immunity thing, we talked a lot at our last board meeting because of some of the new legislation going through because of the Nassar issue, that there may be a longer look-back period, which could affect, you know, a lot of county government and city and whatever else. That could be a longer look-back on some of these things. So keep it in mind.
Yeah, I was planning on going to that because I wanted to, about the sanitary stuff that they're going to discuss. Commissioner Creed.
So I think we're under announcements then?
Well, yeah, we went from miscellaneous to announcements.
Very good. So I'd like to, now that we have sunshine and warm temperatures, hope people will start to think about coming out to the state park, and especially on the 23rd, which will happen to be our 12th annual beach wellness run. The race starts at 9. In fact, you can already start to register, Kim, if they want to go online.
Yeah, I think we've got a website set up for runsignup.com. Runsignup.com, you go there and it walks you through how to sign up. And today most people do sign up electronically versus showing up or sending it in the mail. But if I could speak to Vaughn's comment on the legislature going after people on Medicaid and making sure they work. Here you got a bunch of elected officials in Lansing who are part-time, get health care for them and their spouse, and then they're going after the people who least or need the help and making some sort of assertion as though they don't work, or that's kind of crazy, you know? So.
All right. One last word about the state park. Those of us that are in the age bracket where maybe you grew up in the 60s, if you haven't had an opportunity to drive past the state park, there's remnants of what the beach used to look like. You had a beautiful shoreline there, thanks to Mother Nature in the northeastern. And I'm looking at a very exciting summer coming up. We'll have a nice place for people to picnic.
So what you're saying, we need another 1 or 2 nor'easters and we'll have our beach back, right?
It would work.
Commission.
And to expand on that, the Pinconning County Park yesterday, the county guys were out there, cleaned up the beach, and we have just a gorgeous beach up there. A lot of sand came in, and so tonight at 6:30, those of you, we're having an adult tour walk. It's our annual walk with the Pinconning and Standish Rotary, but that's tonight at 6:30. We have 2 more tours to do out there. We've taken 300 plus 4th graders from 11 classes from Linwood all the way up to Aubrey, touring part of our nature festival and that up in Standish. Saturday night is the final festival dinner, and that's Saturday night at the Tribal Center up there, where that will be, Studio 23 judged a bunch of paintings and stuff and prints and drawings that these kids did from kindergarten all the way through high school, and they'll be giving their awards at that. So got a lot of action going on up there at the county park, but getting it cleaned up the beach nice. They had some high school volunteers came up there and kayaked in front and got all the debris, a lot of tires and, you know, you can name it, everything came in, you know, along with the sand, we got all the junk too, so. But they did a good job up there cleaning up. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Move to adjourn.
Well, motion and support? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? We done it.